has actually created a lot of legal tussle where legal practitioners have been giving opinions. Today, we'll be giving, when we talk about crimes, fraud, and public operations, and I think a lot of them have the tendency of being judged in the court of public opinion. So we have expert in public affairs analyst, Dr. Kunle Adebo, a doctor in the Department of Political Science and Forest College of Education, and Comrade Olarenwaju Ishowo, a seasoned public affairs analyst. So, sir, let me start with you, uh, Dr. Kunle. When we talk about extradition, I think lately Nigerians, let me say people of my age, have been hearing the word extradition, and we seem not to have a clear knowledge of what extradition really means. And so I want you to give us a background to what extradition actually means in the international context.
Thank you very much. It's been great being here. Good afternoon, everybody.
Thanks.
Well, extradition per se, according to international law, has to do with fugitive offenders that have decided to escape justice in their own country and now went or live and decided to go and seek refuge in another country. And then in that country where they are seeking refuge, they are making an attempt that the law will not catch up on them. But the offense that they have committed is such a big offense that even that country where they are staying, the legal people there, the country, they are aware of that offense. So the issue now is how to bring them to come and face justice in that country or their own country where they have experienced justice, where they have escaped. So the practice of getting such fugitive offenders to be handed over to their own country or the country where they have committed an offense by the host nation where they are seeking refuge, where they are staying, is what we call extradition in international law. It's something that has a procedure, and every country in the world and every nation that is a member of the nations, when they have signed that treaty that permits them from time to time to extradite fugitive offenders. There is a procedure for it by the host nation to the other countries that is concerned that person or group of person will be released legally so that they come and face justice where they have committed certain offense.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Going by what you just said, I think as we have extradition, I think in my little knowledge of international politics, we have asylum. Some people talk about asylum. So, but this thing seems to be entangled, and we have to start semantical definitions to. Can you seek an asylum in your own country? Because now, I think with the situation on the ground, we are hearing that the people that are in charge of extraditing ABBA Kyari are already in Nigeria, but we know that as a diplomatic expert, that extradition cannot happen within the blink of an eye. You have to go through certain processes. But with the look of things, I think the AG, the Attorney General of the Federation, will be on ground to check the offense, then pass to the magistrate court or a high court judge to go through the processes too. Then the person will be extradited. But now, the offense is he was allegedly going to face trial. He has not even been indicted yet. He's just fingered in the investigation. So I think morally speaking, shouldn't we just look away? I think shouldn't Nigerian government just call the person in question? Okay, can you just go there to clear your name? Since this is not a treason, this is not a felony, you have been fingered in an investigation. I think certainly if Abba Kyari has not committed any crime against the United States government, he is connected to somebody that committed a crime
It's an
against
accomplice.
is an
Yes,
accomplice.
to that person.
So, but
They have aided that person to commit certain criminal
so
offenses.
I think we should let's set the record straight. DCP Abba Kyari was never indicted or fingered to have committed, I mean, to have aided and abetted Oshkopi in any international fraud. The only place he was fingered was when he founded his um, vacation in Dubai, and then when he allegedly facilitated the arrest of another fugitive in Nigeria, when Oshopi actually facilitated that through Abba Kyari, and then with the WhatsApp messages online. A lot of us have been able to read through all this things and know that okay, he all those crimes in my own level of understanding are committed in this country. Why don't the US government just come to the Nigerian government and say, okay, this person has committed certain offense, you can prosecute him, you should prosecute him, we have completed our investigation. Do the US has the right to come and arrest somebody on our behalf and try the person out? Because Chibuzo, or the name of the other guy, is a Nigerian. He was arrested in Nigeria, he was detained in Nigeria, either legally or illegally, with the knowledge and I think the friendship between the alleged friendship between Oshkopi and DCP Abba Kyari. So I think everything revolves around Nigeria. Why don't the United States just tell us, okay, this is what we gain, this is what we get through, I mean, during the course of our investigation, this person was elected to, but the offenses were committed in your country, so do this, do that.
Don't let us know matter. It's the Federal Bureau of Intelligence Investigation, FBI, and their own investigation in the United States of America. Our own person, talking of Abba Kyari, there have been found culpable, there have been found guilty, and the report of that investigation by the Federal Bureau of Intelligence, just like our SSS here, has been passed on to federal authorities here. They have gone through it and they have seen the document. So that is in the United States. Then come to our own country here. The incumbent regional police has not been very correct. As I'm talking to you now, or as we are discussing now, DCP or now AIG Abba Kyari has been suspended. And the civil service procedure, you know what is meant by suspension. As his suspension now, he cannot sit in his office again. He cannot act in his capacity as the DSP or AIG or any post occupied. Then being on suspension now, he cannot face investigation or any trial. So in the police, there's what we call on the rule trial. Presently, he's facing on the rule trial on the basis of that indictment by Federal Bureau of Intelligence of USA. The most important issue in international law, especially nations or sovereign nations, I agree every nation has its own sovereignty, but nations have signed to a treaty whereby they should not be harboring criminals. They should not be harboring criminals. They should not be a depot for where people that have done some criminal offenses will come and hide. You understand me? And then there's also Interpol, international police. The international police can enter with the knowledge of one people and one country and arrest a particular officer that is needed. But this person now is not just an ordinary citizen, he's occupying a post, a very high public office as Nigerian police force. So the IG has suspended him. Suspending him has a lot of implications. It means that investigation on him has commenced. So let us see in the weeks to come how everything will wrap up. You understand? He will not be treated unjustly. But from all said and done, and all the information so far, there is a rat, there's a link between DCP Abba Kyari and that fugitive offender. There's some connections, there's relations, and there are some activities that want them to and it's not supposed to be hard off somebody who's organized such a high position in our police.
Thank you very much, sir. Comrade Show, now we want to talk about this current government came in on three things. You know, if I'm not mistaken, security, economy, and fight against corruption. Now, when we talk about this is ABBA Kyari has been in charge of, has been the OC SARS in Lagos, I think, since, if I'm not mistaken, since the 2012, 2014, I can't remember the year.
Since that time.
So, he has been there. And when we talk, let's start with this. When we talk about anti-corruption crusade, police is a key player. The Nigerian police force is a key player. And then I think the every head of EFCC we have had in the history of our country has been somebody from the Nigerian police force. Many of them have had uh, questionable characters, questionable dealings while in office and even while outside the office. Now, do you think the Nigerian police force with what we are saying, with what happened with Mago and what is currently happening with DCP Kyari, can we entrust the Nigerian police with the chain of fighting the corruption in our country?
Good afternoon, the viewers out there. I want to say that the situation happening to DCP suspended ABBA Kyari is a good news for Nigerians, but bad news for the police force in the country. Good news in the sense that there are several records available when DCP ABBA Kyari was OC of NSAS in Lagos. Is kept on several tours to the extent that personally it controlled the media, it controlled the judiciary, it controlled the police in making certain narratives available against individuals and personality out there. But notwithstanding, no matter how dark the night, it will surely break into a day. I think what happened to ABBA Kyari is a shame and to the police simply because I see him in recent time as the most decorated police officer in the country. He has won a lot of awards, a lot of ovations because at the time we belong to a certain WhatsApp, Hacker. It's an anti-corruption platform that you cannot post any news except anything that has to do with anti-corruption work. So each time he brought the activities of his there, I expected people in there, if actually that platform is to champion the anti-corruption in the land, to have been giving him series of profession. But I also discovered that each time he posted his activities, his victories, only few people, gave him commendation. Unknowingly, that majority of the members in that particular platform truly understood the personality of ABBA Kyari and how he has been perpetrating evil like that. In fact, as of yesterday, I received or I read a lot of comments, especially from people in diaspora, in another platform. They are narrating what actually happened to them. How maybe he overthrew certain parts of land in expensive places in Lagos. To my surprise that to our ordinary people out there, we saw him before now as the face of police that encouraged people out there. But in the essence of it, just people have never seen him in that. So if ABBA Kyari as a case study is this, I want to say that to Nigerian police who has been served for years, and I don't ever see any within Nigerian police to have fingered what ABBA Kyari has been doing. So if not because of the information of FBI now, the same commendation galore we have been given to ABBA Kyari will continue, even when he knew himself that he has perpetrated a lot of people. Do you know the genesis of this? The FBI, during their investigation, discovered that Ospopi has garnered worth $24 million in this electronic fraudulence. and to them as an expert in information management, in tracing information, they believe that the person in charge couldn't have been succeeded in defrauding people to use that amount if security are not involved. They now target or they targeted two countries, which is United Arab Emirates and Nigeria. But the way they communicated United Arab Emirates when they wanted the Oscopi to be extradited to US, they discovered that the disposition by the government of the United Arab Emirates confirmed that there was no any abatement from that level. So when they put things online, communication with who and who, how this man have been succeeding in this, that was where the issue of ABBA Kyari came into being. And as of now in Nigeria, I want to say that when we are talking about Nigerian police, this is the number one agency. Even in advanced countries, we may have several security agencies, but police is always the forefront. And that is assumption we demonstrate in the country. Not until we saw a series of, activities that cannot be taxed to the police officer. But in this country, you remember, almost months back, what actually led to NSAS? If not because Nigerians were no longer tolerating the activities of the police, away from their body disposition. When they say police is your friend, actually it should be, and that is how it should be in our last class.
Let me come in there when you talk about NSAS. I think when DCP ABBA Kyari served in Lagos, and if you can remember very well, the epicenter of the NSAS was Lagos. There was more fora in Lagos than anywhere. It was an inferno in Lagos. I think you all remember the issue of 28th October last year. But now, when the judicial panel was set up, DCP ABBA Kyari was allegedly invited, and he never honored the invitation. I think the panel is, when I was coming, I think I watched the panel rounding up today. They were winding down already. They were done with their investigation and they're ready to. Nobody, maybe the IG, the Police Service Commission, or even human rights activists, actually publicize that. Or you saying that media is being controlled in favor of this one? Because I will give you an example. When this news broke, there was a lot of PR in favor of this man. A lot of articles showing he's a super cop. And then I came with the opinion that it's not about being a super cop. It's about what you did. You have been fingered in an investigation. I think Federal has come out to say that extradition might not happen in the next 3 months. They must still be on this process of extradition in the next 3 months. That if ABBA Kyari is a super cop, like we call him, he should just save Nigeria distress and go there to face the investigation. Maybe he will just be found guilty and be jailed in Nigeria. That's the position of and San. So what I'm saying is that a lot of allegations has come in. Somebody, we are in social media, we know not every information on social media can be trusted. But there are people that come on in videos. A man that said his client was forced to transfer 41 million naira under duress in a bank to a certain account that was used for the same purpose. So somebody else was used to transfer another money into that account under duress. The same account in Enugu, if I'm not mistaken. I think the video is viral these days. But all those things did not make realize. So I think, what do you think? A lot of people have been complicit in this issue, or is it just ABBA Kyari, or there is a power play behind it?
If you could remember on my footnotes, I dissected the personality of ABBA Kyari and his wherewithal in controlling the police itself, in controlling the media, and even the courts. And have a typical example about the judicial case. You remember the case of Wandume. At the time when the allegation put in place was that the soldier killed the police in the course of escorting the Wandume, And when ABBA Kyari came on board, he was the first person that alleged Wandume as kidnapper. I want to tell you at the country that the case of Adebo is still in court before Just Mustala Iyabuko. And if you have been following the trend of the court procedure, the allegation till this moment before Wandume is illegal possession of firearms. There was nothing in place to show that he's a kidnapper. But the first name, Charles, to Wandume was the name given to by the ABBA Kyari. And that is why I say that he customized factually all the information sector. Whatever he put in place, people will pursue that. That is why I said that to Nigerians, this is a good news because some have presumed ABBA Kyari that he said to, changing the narrative, not actually what he possesses as a person. And from this, at this point in time, nobody, even if you have contrary, you don't have that public acceptability to make a case against whatever the discipline, the suspended ABBA Kyari has made. So that alone is making Nigeria to be cowed. If not, because that investigation was made and concluded and forwarded by the FBI in US. I want to tell you, if it has been cooked or made available within the country, nobody will take it serious. But because that message, 79 pages, they don't joke about it. They don't joke about it. I wonder when Nigeria said they will examine, the information. I believe we don't have the capacity to do that. If we have the capacity to do that, let's see how far it go. If not, this suspension of the thing wouldn't have come. But because Nigeria has studied, the message sent on white paper, and he read the level of how they have gone in conducting research. Let me ask you, have you ever seen, either in police, either in EFCC, either in ICPC, a case that will be in the control of an agency in Nigeria for almost 1 year, 2 months? Because this just happened, Adebo was arrested around June 20, 2020. More than a year, and they have been conducting their research without giving it a legal trial. In this case, immediately the arrest is made, the nation, punch, this and that decision will be flying around, even when the person has not been alleged of committing that crime. But in this case, FBI showed the bar that this is the way we're supposed to go. The matter entered court twice. In February, there was the position of that matter, and in April, there was, and we never heard that maybe the court was bamboozled to the extent that the document was stolen, or there was fire. These are the common things in Nigeria environment. So for us to say that we are not going to extradite ABBA Kyari, I will challenge the federal government for being insincere. Simply because if you follow the trend of late Kasham, you remember when the call for extradition of ABBA Kyari was made. You see how his place was, surrounded by the police to the extent that even the DSS, it was in his toilet for days. That's what the federal government wanted to extradite. Kasham. So why are we now changing the narrative here? That until those. But notwithstanding, let's see how far Nigerian police would go on this investigation. If we find wanted, let it show before the FBI in US. And if you have defense, all the allegations leveled against it, let's see how far. But from what he tweeted, even on his Facebook, his voice was just deleted. Look at the defense. When you are being alleged, having a conspiratorial understanding with such international fraudster, and you are saying that what links you together is that he saw a native in you, and he want to have a native dress to the extent that he sent 100,000 to you. Whenever Kyari become a fashion designer, this is the common question we need.
Okay, let me proceed the coverage show. Sir, doctor, let me continue. I think some people have said that. I think those people in power should be taught history and international studies for a certain amount of time before they go into power, because it seems like we always make mistakes when it comes to dealing with the outside world. Nigeria has been a signatory to an extradition charter in the United States since 1931, and that it came to effect in 1935. And I think in the ECOWAS level, where we have the Benin, we have Benin Republic, Togo, Nigeria, Ghana, We have that in 1984, if I'm not mistaken. And the Extradition Act is very clear that the Attorney General will do a certain thing, pass it to a certain judge, then they will have to decide if it is worth. Because Nigeria has made success and failure in extradition. Things are even, let me take you back the history a little bit. In 1964, during the Anthony Enaro, if I'm not mistaken, he found his way one way or the other to the United Kingdom. He didn't want to come. But when we have the Arab Wilson and Arab Macmillan, the two Arabs at the end of the Conservative and the Labour Party in the United Kingdom, the Labour, I mean the opposition then were like, you can't take him away. He has not done anything. This is political. That was the position of the opposition. And then Arab Macmillan in power was under pressure. Like, he was being targeted for mismanagement of fraud, I mean of funds. So when Naro was brought back into Nigeria, I think he was charged for treasonable felony. So, which is against what Nigeria to the United Kingdom. So that's drove us back to 1984, if I'm not mistaken, during the Umaru Diko incident. So the Nigerian government did not have the authenticity, the integrity to go back to the same United Kingdom to release Umaru Diko to us. So we tried to do a kind of abracadabra, kidnap the man, put him in a crate. If not for, even though if Nigeria has planned it very well, I think the United States would have paid dearly, and the United Kingdom would have paid dearly because that crate was supposed not to be checked. But if not for the tipping that has came before they got to the airport. So now we have made success and failures of this, and it seems to me that we want to eat our cake and still have it. Where we've made success of this, we've made I think we've made full of ourselves when we come to extradition and a lot of things. Do we forget our charters? And we'll go back to the issue of Sunday in the Republic. I think when we have the delay tactics and this the Republic government is trying to play that. Where do we go? They're trying to find their way. Now, Nigeria is not even looking as if we're trying to find our way. When DCP ABBA Kyari said to have committed a crime, we said we want to, and you have to face pardon before he goes. So I think what my question want to be now is that we seem to be a very bad student of history when it comes to international issues. Are we playing our international cards right?
We are not, Nigeria is not. And that has been the problem with different regimes that we have. The most guilty of those regimes are the civilian regime, and I'm very sorry to say this. Left for the military, they are really trying on the issue of this issue of international relation and extradition and asylum and what have you. But the civilians that are supposed to be in the forefront of democratic rule are the regime in Nigeria that is not doing well at all. Most importantly, what used to be the problem is the issue of the post of Attorney General and Minister of Justice. It's sort of lumped two important posts together, Attorney General of Federation,
And the Minister of Justice.
Yes. And then it goes to another point that there's a lot of politicking in that government and the government at the center. In the essence that some cabal are the one in charge of the federal government administration, not allowing some different ministries, like the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to play their own part in issues that is relating to this one that we're talking about now. You all see that they are together and just take control of everything. That's not supposed to be so. But I would like to put it across to all of us this afternoon that in the person of our new IG, the person of Akari Baba, I seem to have the trust in him. And he has taken a step by suspending his ABBA Kyari. This is a very right step in the right direction. And presently, as we are talking, ABBA Kyari is facing an internal or new trial. And he may be moved from that to our court so that he eventually we need to go and to be extradited. You understand to USA to go and face to go and answer his case and get anything that will happen to him. So that is a step in the right direction. So I don't see, or I'm getting interested in the whole case now, and I would like to see how the Attorney General and Minister of Justice now in the case of Malawi, I want to see how we go to muzzle the IGP now and the Foreign Affairs Ministry. But with the IGP, I don't think he will have.
Sir, when we talk about international politics,
Yes.
I think this government has to, I think, have a wealth in that respect. That the chief of staff is a seasoned diplomat, if I'm not mistaken. I think he has reached, or let me say, he has reached the climax.
Professor Ibrahim
I think he has reached the climax of a career diplomat. And when we look at things, what's happening with Igbo, normally we used to read that it's strategic to place former army officers at your border countries. Now, some people are saying that that is the problem with Nigeria trying to use a Gestapo style to get somebody go out of the Republic before nobody has the full information on what there was this corner play of a Gestapo style of kidnap Sunday Adebo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho. So now, don't you think this current administration should have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to international politics, where we have a Ministry of Foreign Affairs and a chief of staff who has served all his life in international politics?
Well, like I told you earlier, I'm afraid of this cabal. They will not allow all these agencies to operate fully, especially when they have an interest in a particular issue. Maybe political interest and economic interest. And then they don't allow the president to really take control of issues in the nation. As you have rightly said, there is now a chief of staff, the president, somebody who is not passed in international relations. They have the Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs. The guy there is a minister, is very good in international relations. See, when they make their own memo, when they write memo to the presidency, stop at the death of the president. And that is where you see all this come out, having different memo and turning things to the other side. But let us, for all those other ones that they have been turning negatively, let us see how they will handle this very issue now of this ABBA Kyari. Let's see how everything will work out.
Alright, thank you very much. Comrade, let me go back to you. I think there was a book written by a United States president, Harry Truman, said the box was here, if I'm not mistaken, when he said that I'm just trying to go by what the doctor just said, that a president or the head of government in any situation has to take responsibility for whatever occurs during their tenure. But the same seems not to be the case in Nigeria. When the president leaves power, then we start to share that some people did something behind the presidency. Now, like what the person we've been hearing about this whether it is true or not. I think I will invite you back to a book written by Akiri Adeshina, no, Shegun Adeshina, and Power Politics and Death, when he was trying to talk about, when he tried to paint a picture of what happened during Yaradua administration. Then there was this question of cabal, and he was fingered to be among the cabal. But what happened was, he said when Yaradua died, when they were going, I think when they were going for the inauguration ceremony of former President Kunle, somebody asked him, I've forgotten the name of the person. Somebody asked him that, Shegun, this about the thing, I didn't really remember. I could remember that, he said, Malam Nasir Rufai interjected and said that, I said there was no cabal. It was a media creation to neutralize July. That was the wife of, the late President Umaru Musa. So why it seems that as if we seem to find excuses for our principal officers in this country. Are those cabals really that powerful that the president cannot do anything on their own?
I don't know because I've not been to Asura. But I want to say one thing that you can only talk about the manifestation of the so-called cabal under this administration, perhaps during the other administration. I think the word cabal has not birth when Obasanjo was on the throne. Maybe because of the personality of Obasanjo, in terms of age, in terms of experience, and in terms of being open understanding of what leadership is all about. Nobody was talking about Obasanjo when he was there. In fact, he relegated even certain ministries. He controlled everything. I just found that you know at the time. He said you have advisors. You just have people to maintain offices. What advice do they have to give you? It shows how Obasanjo was as the president of the country. But in this current administration, having resources in terms of manpower is different from how to manage or the management of that resources to have a desired result. If not, and because you look at it from the party politics in the country, I mean APC. Should APC be at the state of dilemma in terms of taking decision that has to do with the legality or otherwise of the party member? I'm saying in essence, when you look at the structure of this administration, I doubt since 1999 we have never had it so good in terms of having lawyers among the cabinet of Mr. President.
So that Nigeria.
There are many
Professors.
Professors
of law.
In fact, even the first president, that was my contemplation when this administration was coming aboard. I said we have new sheriff, that is away from anything corruption, especially financial aspects. And we're having a vice who is a legal expert to guide Mr. President. Part of the reason I believe Buhari Osibanjo will deliver the expectation is a combination of the two personalities. But unfortunately, in determining the legal aspect of the matter, even in Asoro, I that Mr. Vice President has been so prominent in taking decisions. And that will amount to the question, all the observation made by the doctor here. Governor Yama, I have my postgraduate on international studies. And Professor Sansali taught us this, that we're having 5 phases in foreign affairs. He upheld the knowledge base of the foreign affairs minister. But it's different from when you are having the enabling environment to display what you have. This is what I see happening. I don't want to highlight the personality of the chief of staff. At the time, I saw one of the prominent writers say that chief of staff dozed off in the office of Kunle, which is PA to Mr. President. By the current situation, I don't think we need to have problem in related to other countries. Simply because the chief of staff is an embodiment of anything that has to do with foreign policy and foreign affairs. He's an expert. I don't know of that matter. But to what extent has he been given the opportunity to play the required role in deciding the acts of Mr. President? If not, what we are experiencing today shouldn't be. Why the forces, and I ask you this question. When the US, the refusal of US in recent time, stylishly, that they are not going to give Nigeria arms, despite the fact that we have made supplementary budget for that. The question is, in 2018, US promised to make the candidates available for us. So what changed within that 3 years? If they have agreed to supply us to Kano, as sophisticated as those jets are, and our nation this time around, they are debating, they are talking about the human rights. Why? It's because we are able to play our international politics well. There are things, when you talk about it, and average people will say, no, you don't get it right. And I said this, I don't know, maybe here or somewhere, when Twitter was suspended, I made a position known that for the past, UK, Canada, US, EU, and others condemned the decision of the Nigerian government. They visited us, maybe their representatives, on how to discuss this matter. What you were saying at that time, Nigeria is a sovereign state. Nobody can get to us. I know Nigeria is a sovereign state, but we need to get our international politics right. At any point in time, you see power making a direction. Perhaps maybe because US is benefiting from Twitter. Maybe Twitter is paying US huge amount of money as tax. That is what can make US to influence other countries of the world. Anything we have listened to that and give their opinion certain respect. This kind of human rights violation of the thing, nobody can cover. Because only Jonathan, I said it in one of the Deborah. France denied us the ammunition. We approached Israel, we were denied. And when we used the black market through South Africa, we were exposed. So the only thing is there. So it shows that international politics, it may not be the way we are playing PDP, APC party here, where we just bulldoze or make a terrible decision at any point in time. So this is the implication. So on this, I want to urge Nigerian government that we need to do the needful on this matter. I don't blame having a trial within the police. It is fine thing to do. But if the man is found guilty, it is better for Nigerian police to expose that. If not, if at the end of the day, we set him free here, and the US discover that this is what I told you, just like James Ekorike. You know this people was tried here. Nothing happened. In fact, I tell you what to repatriate the money. What was the government position? How is society? You know, governance is in the country, and until we are able to review our leadership recruitment process, and how would they say to find ourselves in this country? Sincerely, if the leaders of ABBA Kyari, who I so much cherish, sincerely speaking, so much cherished in terms of uprightness, as they manifested before now, and such a person who be linked with international foster in terms of abatement. In fact, what battles me most was the confession made by Chibozo, Vincent. He said ABBA Kyari aware about the dealings, that 1.1 million dollars that led to
troubles between him and
you now creating putting the custody for a month, not until
he only said that he wants him to
this relation is simple at this point in time and still handled by the country as the US over there.
Okay, now I think I don't want us to get too much into politics. Now, somebody has come out to say that if ABBA Kyari want to save Nigeria distress, you just submit himself to the United States inquiry, then he said that if you go through the investigative report, he has never been alleged of anything. His name was mentioned, his name was mentioned, but either fraud or anything, he has never been charged. When we get there, he will be investigated there. So a lot of people have come out to say that maybe there was a lot of people behind ABBA Kyari that might be exposed for some other things other than the current Oshopi case. So that's why you want to keep ABBA Kyari. And somebody else has come out with the opinion that there are a lot of things going on even in Nigeria. There are a lot of conventions, let me say, that have been coming out from the public that ABBA Kyari has done this, has done that, has never been trying to lead, has never been trying to do that. Why don't we just tell the United States, okay, whatever we want to do to him, let's do as first. If he has done anything in your country, he has maybe done that before he did that in your country. Let's try. Though you and I know that maybe we find it difficult to trust our government. The trust gap between the people and the government in our country is very, very wide. So let me give you an example. A lot of people believe that in Nigeria, every country of the world is like Nigeria. I heard somebody that told me that I think about last time I was talking with my own brother. He was saying that when last time I heard about Oshopi, they are forgetting the money is too much. It was just the money and leave. I was like, then for a time I was like a fool to me. I was trying to tell you, these people do not operate like we do. So, but a lot of conversion of land, properties of suspects to conversion of properties of suspect cars, houses, monies, in finding their ways into one way or the other into some people that are linked to ABBA Kyari allegedly. Do you think the United States is the only party in this, why don't Nigeria take it upon themselves to fight for Nigerians that have been
What is our national interest in this country? And I'll just give you an example around you. When allegations were raised against Marco, you remember by the current Attorney General that actually led to his suspension. You remember Mr. President constituted the panel report on his own. And the contrary, may I ask you what was the finding? Where is the paper report on that particular issue? Show it to the judge. You know, it is when in the next 5 years, in fact, Mr. President has suspended our constitutional another president. You know, but what I'm saying in essence is that a weighty allegation like this that involve an high-profile individual like Marco shouldn't have been thrown somewhere. And there was a precedent in this. Lamode, what actually led to the suspension of Lamode that led to the sack, it later transferred back to the Kudu. You know, Lamode was alleged to have removed the money recovered. You know, for 4 years by the KFCC to his personal income. What more than 1 trillion, if I'm not mistaken, at that time? What happened to it? Was it not the same Lamode confirmed back in the list? What happened to Mainan case? You remember, Mainan was alleged, even in that way during the Jonathan administration. The irony of it is that the certain individual personality within the Aso Rock visited Mainan, ushered him back, fixed him in the civil service. Not until it was exploded. In the civil service,
by the then chief of the head of service.
Head of service between the chief of service
And the head of service.
You know, there was
a
yes, and that what consumed the head of service. Because he thought equity was so the exposed what happened. So what I'm saying in essence is we just need to raise the bar of governance in the country. There's no way we are discussing this issue without coming down to the state or without coming down to the country. That we should stop making ourselves to be the laughing stock among the community of nations. And the general said it at the time. The mixing of 15 high-profile cases. The files were missing. And I told them that out of that 13, I know one that was not missing, which is the case of Nigerian. We all saw it. What happened? No, it's because of the Senate President step down the whatever and we try to find it. So somebody said that just made it
well. Was made. I think somebody has wrote about that.
So that's the situation in the country. I always see that why the same country that enjoyed the extradition of Nemkano from Kenya over there now find it difficult to send our own people back there, to our own person back to US. Of course, the doctrine of the world like US and others, I listened to Falana when he was making certain comments about neo-colonialism and what countries of the world turn or want us to believe on. He said our typical language about people that mismanage money is thief. When we call them thief, we know this is only. But the term money laundering, you know, the thing, it was dry cleaned by the country of the world over there. When we're now making ranking on international, you know, transparency, Nigeria will move 2 steps forward this year, 2 steps backward next year. But why the country like Switzerland, according to Father,
yes,
that houses all the corrupt
money in the world,
have never been on the laws of the corrupt country. That shows how they are using media or the influence to expose African countries and protect their own country. In US, insecurity is equally there. You know, the essence of people are dying as a result of gun usage. You know, Obama at the time begged the National Assembly there on the gun control. That people are misusing the there. So there's no way we will continue discussing this matter without advising Nigeria to allow governance to stay. Let people see what good governance is all about. There is no way if you fail to put governance in place in the country and we're after getting to one country or the other, it can only be recognized when they see the value in you. But in as much as they know that you will surely come to us. They will continue using your colonialism to teach your brain. Unfortunately, we don't realize that. At the time we saw Mr. President with Trump, you see the kind of ovation we're doing. The President Buhari sat before the Trump. Forget the percentage of the Trump. But because in Washington DC, as Mr. President there, we are being consumed, we are being overwhelmed, we are being exhausted by the happiness. So until we're able to redeem the image of this country, if we get it removed, sincerely speaking, we'll be more respected in the countries of the world than what is happening.
Thank you very much. A conversation. I think we can't finish the conversation. The conversation will always continue. But sir, people have made the opinion that ABBA Kyari can see Nigeria distress of going through the installation process and go with the people. That will give Nigeria the possibility of sending our own professional investigators to be part of the investigation to give us real-time updates of what is happening there. Or we go through the installation process, or maybe later we know the years we never forget. But if we go there with the report that we went there, but we're not given the opportunity, we cannot kidnap them. Nigeria is not a prison, and neither is it a jungle. We went there, but you know the years we always have it in their file. Maybe that's what they have been filing. That's making it difficult for us to get ammunition from almost every available market in the world now. Don't you think this ABBA Kyari case is more than what we are seeing from the outside? It can actually affect much more than what we're saying, affect Nigeria on the international stage. Shouldn't ABBA Kyari, as a super cop, as somebody with integrity that we used to know, just save this country the stress of going through the installation process and go there by himself?
You cannot go there. So the government should be to force him to go there and let him go and face this case. Let him go and get the trial.
Sir, comrade, let me take this to you. I think we talk about no, sir. No, I think the two of you, we have to talk to this. We have this ethno-religious issues when no matter how important the issue is in this country, we find a way to put religion and religion and region into it. We've been hearing allegedly that some certain part of the country, some certain youth in the country are saying that nothing must happen to ABBA Kyari. Of course. So, sir, I don't know, are they proud of what is happening here? Have they read the report? Or is this how this country will continue when we have important issues, and then we still bring religion and drive region to it? Sir,
I'm happy at this juncture simply because the major tribes in the country are facing the similar case, and I want to know how they are going to look alike in the mirror. When I say major tribe, you see Sunday Adebo is facing challenge from the southwest, Indian Kano from the southeast, and ABBA Kyari from the north. And I expected the common ground from people of Nigeria. We need to put the country first in our mind. And that is why I say up to this moment, we have not attained even statehood. That if anything happens, what we have been thinking is, no, state needs to get it right, not where he or she is coming from. When the kind was arrested, I said that by now we're supposed to be in jubilation. Galore, that's one of the strong elements that want to destabilize the peace of this country, has been arrested. And even when you look at the comments from the elite in the southeast, professors that will belong to the same platform, they are now saying that nothing should happen to Kano, simply because they are making a case. How Mr. President has been handling the issue of bandits.
Let me give you an example, sir, of what you're saying. There is a revelation about a certain Alika Chala that has the power to shoot down an Air Force plane. He has never been prescribed. I'm not speaking about the evils, I'm just trying to give you a clearer picture of what is happening. He has never been prescribed a terrorist, he has been declared wanted. And somebody has said that this man has more than 200 followers in a certain part of the country. They killed, they maim, they rob, they constitute banditry, constitute nuisance. And the federal government seems to be looking away from that. these people were dying. A lot of people are saying, okay, that kind of person, I think the only way his own saying, I mean, crime can be differentiated from what is happening with Nnamdi Kanu is the fact that that one is a separatist. I mean, Nnamdi Kanu is a separatist agitator, but one way or the other, they both kill, they both mayor, they both disrupt the peace and harmony of the southern region in the country. So if the federal government is looking away when it comes to Ali Kachana, but we seem to say already quickly spread our wings when it comes to
That is the position of the people in the southeast. In fact, I had a conversation with Osoma,
the brother Shoma.
we are very close because it's a source person when it comes to legal issue. And he told me this exact what you have just said. That Mr. President just needs to raise the bar to appear like the president of the country, not the president of a region. What he has been demonstrating so far has not confirmed in the toga of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Because we should stop using the current approach in this matter. Anybody that is capable, that is capable by action or inaction to destabilize this country, to subject this country to unnecessary tension, that person needs to be brought to the book. But you saw the movement of, for instance, Sheikh Gumi, that he knows where about these bandits. And Sheikh Gumi acknowledged that even the government officials, even the security, know the whereabouts of these bandits. Have they used the best measure to get them arrested? No. You remember the day the incident in Niger State occurred? Senator Saki in his Twitter called them terrorists. The governor of Zamfara State was the first person that, twisted contrary to that they are not terrorists. They have certain reservations. One of the things, why do we always use ethnocentric coloration to view issue, even when it is affecting us? We need to see Nigeria as one, regardless of where we belong to. What is good for A must good for B. What is good for Goose must also good for Uganda. But what is it whereby we are being stereotypic about the issue? That alone we amount to certain discouragement. But now, in the Kanu, what should be dealt with and all Nigerians must agree that they dealt with. Saturday should be dealt with and all Nigerians must agree that they dealt with. ABBA Kyari, once the data all Nigerians must agree, that shows that Nigeria first ahead of any other interest. But what is whereby the youth of America, even the force in the north, are saying that it should not be extradited back to the US. What knowledge or what lessons we want to learn from there?
I think the conversation will always continue. Doctor, sir, when we talk about the experience here, you have a more than two. We talk about age. You've been on this country for quite a long while before we came, if I'm not mistaken.
Experience is good.
You see that you see the difference Okay, sir, with the look of the picture coming just to it, about Nigeria is, if I'm not mistaken, if you agree with me, Nigeria is currently on trial. Because the major trial are the one giving us problems today, if I'm not mistaken. So, Doctor, how do you think the government should handle this?
Like what I've said earlier, only we are not hold tight to my code. I said the civilian regime seems to be more ethic than military regime. We can pass military with our heart. Those military regime are the ones that have put us to better position than we are today. This so-called civilian regime, what you experienced, what you have witnessed, I think you saw the 16 years of NPP. Now this is APC now, 8 years, almost 8 years now. I mean, have they been able to create the state? They have not been able to create the state. They have not been able to create the government. Whereas the present state structure that we are using to create the system and the FCT, it is the hand of the military. Even the local government that has something, it's the hand of the military. Even the so-called platform on which this democratic regime is founded, the United Economic Constitution, is the hand of the military. The civilian what they been able to do. They can't come up with a new constitution. They cannot be able to create local government. They have not been able to create it. So those are my bad experience, and my experience about what I translated in Nigeria since independence. When they sit down, especially those office holders, they are the one benefiting from it. You see them condemning ministry. They are not correct. We that we are students and we are lecturers and we are political analysts, we know that these civilians are not correct. Even these civilians regime, they are the ones that are spoiling Nigeria. Spoiling Nigeria. They are the ones that are using religion and ethnicity to play politics so that they can get themselves in power. And when they are in power now, they now dance to too much to one side of their own ethnic group. Like this issue you are talking about, I'm so sorry to say it is this same Papa that is going to pay those youth. If they are not actually the correct youth, but they are being used, they raise them up to say, okay, so something like that did not happen. It's not the point. If it has to be doing with this group, actually we take it. And they don't look back. They don't look back. Not minding whose source is God. Even this government we are running now, is to something that really disappoints me. He also has been taken over by the military. This is no government. This is not a regime. Everything is going bad. Both right, left, and center.
Thank you very
I
much,
expect the military to take over from there.
Thank you very much.
Let's start anew.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much, Doctor. I think Doctor is very, very agitated. Every Nigerian is very agitated, but I believe that as a Nigerian, we will pray more for a more robust economy and a more robust political civilization. I think a lot of people has to be enlightened. These have just been given 5 more minutes by my producer there. Let me come back to you, comrade. So, let's talk about age, your experience, about academy and everything. I think I want to believe you have more than me. I want to believe you have this more than me. You paint a very, very a picture I will always agree with. That they are the source of our problem. When an issue rises up, even the elites, you will expect the professors, the lawyers. Cicero said that the more the laws, I think the less the justice, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take this from this angle. We talked about APC as a body, as a party. The vice president, a lawyer. So many of the ministers, lawyer. And then they still make legal blunders. Let's take the Ita Jagede and the Ondo governorship case now. Though it was 4-3. Very close. Which means that if one of them had voted, it's going directly on the opposite. And those that voted the winners, they said that Governor Imala Buni should have been joined as an appellant in that case because the case revolved around him. But some people have made the case that Imala Buni could not be joined because he has an immunity. So his own immunity might delay the judgment because you can't charge him when he's in office. You can't charge the president of the government. So I think that alone tell us that we need to look back into our constitution. You can, if Buni will be asked that you can't hold two executive positions at a time, we have to wait till he's done with his governor because he has immunity. So a lot of people have said that that's where PC is hiding on that. If you want to take Buni to court, you have to wait till he's done with his gubernatorial tenure. Now, how do we start taking important issues serious? Because we seem to take things when some people say in Nigeria when we have important issues, the first thing we consider is our region, our religion, our personal interest. Nobody seems to know what the national interest of this country is. So where do you think we need to start from?
Let me correct an impression before I move forward. Joining Buni or not joining Buni to that matter, it doesn't work with immunity because we are talking about a civil matter. Election matter is a civil matter, not a criminal matter. And joining him doesn't mean that he needs to appear before the courts. He needs to be represented by a lawyer defending him. But one lesson we need to learn about what actually transpired in the courts is that all the 7 justices agreed that it is illegal for an executive governor to still hold another executive office while as a governor. The only area of discrepancy in that judgment is that the three agreed that once the APC
is joined and Buni is an agent to the president,
so that he must. But the four agreed that Edin being Buni is joined, definitely all Governor Dolu would have been the governor. But aftermath is what actually led to the legal advice made by Festus Keyamo that we need to be cautious in handling this matter. Going by this judgment, Adebo is joined, that would have nullified. But the action he had performed, still performing, is still questionable by the law. Which means, perhaps it's because you don't want me to go into party politics, perhaps at the state level, all that. But going by that judgment, the recent local government, is it World Congress, they head across the country, still questionable. And that was why Mr. President considered the committee to be headed by the Vice President. The question is, when Buni or the technical committee was constituted, what was the advice made by the Vice President? It was the Vice President, what I learned this from the Daily Trust reporter, in the said that even they wanted to remove virtually all the state chairmen elected by the convention. It was the Vice President that said, no, let all the chairmen elected by the convention remain the caretaker chairman. If not, all of them will have been headed by new faces under technical something. So what I'm saying in essence is, not until when we rock the boat, we must know that it will sound in the water. And what is happening now, even by the committee considered by Mr. President, and the general still on evidence that they should proceed on that convention, regardless of the judgment made. If we're having ministers that are lawyers, we're having vice president that is a lawyer, and considered to assemble all the lawyers in the cabinet, and we still have the dissenting voice from that committee. That shows how uncoordinated the current administration, the cabinet is. If not,
sir, thank you. You know exactly where I'm going. If a party cannot handle his own legal matter correctly, the party with a whole lot of senior advocates of Nigeria. We've seen senior advocates of Nigeria that are not carrying members of the APC, but are apologies and sympathizers of the APC. So, if they are, will you say that the edge is is a kind of the toe dictating to the edge?
The simple answer to this, I would have expected the World Congresses held across the country 3 days ago to have been taking place. They should just hold on. Perhaps make another person who is not an executive governor of the state to be the caretaker chairman. Then start from there. It means they have learned from the judgment made on Adebo and Adebo. But they have proceeded on that, and I think they will continue.
If they are getting this kind of advice from the Attorney General of the Federation, don't you think?
Perhaps.
Sir, we've seen it in the headlines that President Muhammadu Buhari actually consulted Professor Osibaju on legal matters. Maybe when the judgment was made, he was chipped that this thing is happening. He allegedly consulted the Professor of Law, which is the President Osibaju. He advised that the World Congress be stopped. But one or the other, the President still has his own legal man, which is the Malami.
He believes in Malami
more than the so if the one or the other, it seems the president is believing in the wrong. Don't you think the whole country is believing in the wrong?
No, it's not the whole country. It has to do with everything.
Okay, what about the legal matter outside the country?
No, what did it matter?
Well, if you have the legal matter outside the country,
may I ask you why the APC lost out in separate states?
Because of the same thing that is happening.
Does that concern me?
No, what is this? This is the Attorney General of the Federation.
Yes.
When we have legal matters, we have legal matters with law.
No,
let me take it back to the national issue. maybe just maybe if we don't have somebody like Awonwaka as the Attorney General, maybe we wouldn't have brought that case. And then the same thing, the Bori issue. Maybe, just maybe, if we don't have somebody like Awonwaka as the Attorney General of the Federation at that time, maybe Ibori would have been, I mean, would have been tried and jailed in Nigeria. But one way or the other, some interest have taken over the national interest of this country. So the picture I'm trying to paint is that if the president, if the person that has the trust of the president is not, I mean, has not been so correct when it comes to the interpretation of the apex court of the land, do you think when the issue concerns you and I, he will give the right answer?
No, that is what I can say. And in fact, in the first instance, I have suggested when Mr. President wanted to constitute his panel after 2019 general election between Festus Keyamo, I opined Festus Keyamo should have been the AG, not Malami. But the ties between President Muhammadu Buhari and Malami was later advisor of CBC. Buni was, I think, the secretary of CBC, secretary before he became the governor. Just a year before he became the governor, he left CBC and joined the APC. So the change of what actually links Mr. President with the personality
So I say that the president is still maintaining
he believes in that party attachment, CBC. So if not, I expect to have gone for the best. Between Attorney General and Festus Keyamo, we know.
Comrade, thank you very much. We are out of time, please. And thank you very much, everyone, for your time. The issue we always continue online. You can make your comments on our Facebook page, Twitter page, and other social media platforms. Thank you very much for your time. I'm once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. Comrade,
That's how they are running our country. We are not happy about it.
Our living is in the Adebo. What you comment here? Ever before. I'm going to comment you. Needs of local government. There's a comment where this is illegal. Buy it. When show go. About you go. To me. Only I never do it. You didn't know. Hey, Bora.
Budget defense. Èmi ò rí rí náà. Ibi tí a fẹ́ ṣe kó á pè àyè fẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn kí a sọ local government IC executive ni wọ́n kọ́ lọ ministry tó jẹ́ sẹ́kì ní wọ́n present budget ẹ̀ tí wọ́n á gbé wá. Sọ pé owó ní bàtọ̀ gà ẹ̀ mọ̀ rẹ́ ni o. Wọ́n ní jáde lọ ìdílé gbé wa yìí ní ìsọ̀wọ́ òní.
Àdèmọ́ ti síbẹ̀ mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ jẹ́ kó rí mọ́. Àwọn ọlọ́pàá ṣe ń. Èmi ẹ fẹ́ wà àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ní nǹkan pẹ̀lú wọn ẹ